Good morning, Sacramento. I'm Javier Fernandez.
And I'm Jessie Zand.
And welcome to the morning show.
And evening.
So, afternoon show.
Sure, why not? Earlier this week, we reported on a California split bill.
More on this, we go to Trent.
AB 300, the act to separate California into 6 separate states, was denied a ballot spot yesterday by Youth and Government Legislature. It then became an initiative and received its 300 signatures and governor approval required for further action on the bill. We're about to see what happens next in our very own Supreme Court. Yesterday, the California Emergency Team introduced AB 300 to the Senate and Assembly, but it failed to pass. Arguments against it included concerns about college tuition, taxation, and resource distribution. During oral arguments, the Supreme Court justices asked whether 6 governments are really necessary to govern our most populous state. There were also concerns raised about Jefferson, the northernmost region of California. If created, Jefferson would be the poorest state in the United States. The California Emergency Team argued their case to put AB 300 on the ballot, but the verdict has not yet been declared. This has been one of the most controversial bills at Youth in Government this year. The Senate and Assembly at first did not favor it, but we'll find out the Supreme Court verdict at approximately 3 p.m. this afternoon. Good yard.
Katie sat down with the Secretary of State candidates. Let's see what they had to say.
With the elections getting closer, we took a last look at our candidates for Secretary of State. So Jake, do you want to tell us about your platform?
My platform mainly revolves around the election system, being that is the main job of the Secretary of State, to organize that. And basically, I want to implement as much equality in that system as I can. And that will mainly happen through reforming the party system, creating permanent, if not just long-lasting parties, hopefully permanent though, which will build up loyalty and dedication over the years so that every candidate, when they join these parties, will have an equal support group behind them, and that will take away the unfair chances that are given to delegates who come from large delegations, who come from or who have aspects of them that are more popular in terms of gender, race, their beliefs, their ideologies, how they look, and all of that, which I believe personally should not be a factor in whether they win their election or not. This will also result from questioning candidates in a different manner. For positions other than youth governor, I do not want to force candidates into revealing political views in terms of a left or right-wing view. I feel like many conservatives are treated very unfairly here in terms of elections and not given a fair chance. And those views do come into hand for youth governor, and they are important. But for positions like Speaker of the Assembly, Lieutenant Governor, all of those, it doesn't affect how they perform their duties. And so I don't believe that it should affect whether they achieve office or not. And so hopefully by instilling these things, it will result in a youth in government in which our leaders are more deserving of their positions, and it wasn't so much handed to them by predetermined things.
Okay, thank you. And what are you passionate about outside of YNG?
Well, I have a few different passions. I've played soccer all my life. That is kind of dying down as other things become more prominent in my life, such as college, obviously. YNG this year became much more prominent in running for this position. I was a committee chair. Lots of other things became more relevant. But the thing that I'd say is most prominent and most important to me outside of youth and government would be writing. Last year, my 10th grade year, I switched schools and I was in a creative writing class, and I've always loved the arts, but I found out that writing was probably my favorite form of the arts that year. And this year I moved on to an advanced creative writing class, and it's kind of released this passion in me that I didn't know was there. And I've learned that I love writing short stories, narratives. I love developing characters, kind of realistic fiction, or a twist on reality, like stories based on the truth, and kind of like depicting morals, depicting themes in ways that you really have to analyze and look into the deeper meaning, and kind of writing that will result in many different reactions and emotions. So that has become more prominent in my life, and it has become sort of a hobby in my life in which I do just enjoy writing, like on the bus, in a car, just sitting in my house. I'll just like take out my phone and start writing stuff in my notes, and it usually goes nowhere. It's like half-written stories, like maybe a quarter of a poem or something that never gets finished. But I mean, even starting it, it's enjoyable for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are your 3 main points that you would hope to accomplish as Secretary of State?
Well, in the most short, simple form, I would say the 3 points are: 1, reorganizing the bill docket to create a better chance of passing bills that deserve to be passed and vetoing bills that deserve to be vetoed by organizing it most controversial to least controversial. Secondly, is questioning candidates in a fair manner where their political views aren't forcefully revealed for positions other than youth governor. And lastly would be reforming the party system to instill equality throughout our elections.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Franklin was unable to attend an interview with us, but he replied to our questions via text message. Here's what he had to say. My platform is to change the way that candidates are nominated within the political parties from a physical body count to a ballot. I would also like to set up an official online forum for delegates to post their concerns so that the leadership of youth in government can know exactly what the people want. My main passion outside of YNG is the first robotics competition. I love mechanical engineering and would like to continue my education at either Caltech, Cal Poly, or MIT. I am also very involved in my school's drama department.
Thank you, Katie. Besides getting booed in joint session for abstentions, Wyland reporter Haley talks about what other consequences there are from abstaining.
Delegates, everyone will tell you that your vote does matter. This is perhaps the one place where you truly have a voice. For those of you planning to abstain from voting, here's why you should reconsider.
So as an advisor, an abstention really means that you really have no opinion on the race. I always tell my delegates, you've been here for the 5 days of Sacramento and you know the candidate. So abstaining really means you have no opinion, which wouldn't happen and be the case here at Youth in Government. A few years ago, we had a governor's race, and there were a lot of delegates that chose to abstain, and the vote ended up being really close. And so it's really, really important that as we're modeling democracy, it's really important that everyone takes the opportunity to vote and know that an abstention is not a vote.
I think it's unfair for the candidates when voters abstain because the candidates try extremely hard all throughout the conference. And so I think it's an unfair thing for delegates to just not vote.
The arguments to abstain from voting aren't quite up to par. Let's check it out.
As an American, I have the right to abstain. It is my duty to my country to have that right and execute that right. I was born with it. It was given to me by God.
So remember that, delegates, when you're voting. Back to you, Javier.
That'll never get any spirit fingers.
Last night, the news program to hit YNG, the International Affairs Committee, held their own gala. Haley was there to check it out.
Last night, on the 15th floor of the Hyatt, a gala was held for delegates in the IAC program, a new program area this year. This was in celebration of the solution that passed in sessions. Delegates enjoyed food and good conversation. I spoke to a few of them about the event and the solutions.
Can you tell me a little bit about your program area?
Sure. So the International Affairs Commission is new this year. It's basically we work in 3 different policy areas that we set this year. This year it's terrorism, climate change, and drug trafficking.
What exactly is this gala for?
So the gala is essentially, we've already gone through the first round of eliminations. We've had some teams pass. And the way that we've decided that is we've given teams fake money, which is essentially epsilons. So they've gotten 100 of these epsilons, and they voted with their money on what solutions they thought were the best. So these teams, they divvy them out, for instance, $20 to one, $60 to another, that kind of thing. And the teams with the most amount of money per subject area ended up passing, and those behind still got to keep the money that they had earned from other teams' investments, and they're using that money right now to talk with other teams, see if they can get different policy changes, support other policies, that kind of thing.
Great, and so how many bills passed, and what were they?
Right, so we have 9 different solutions that have passed through the first round called the Inquisition. That was out of 21, 3 for every area of focus, and some of them, and they range in subject matter. For instance, we have one focusing on nuclear fusion, another focusing on using roads and infrastructure to fight terrorism. Is really anything that's happening in the International Affairs Commission.
All right, interesting. Thank you.
Youth Governor candidate Grant McComb's campaign event took an unexpected turn yesterday. Let's have a look.
Youth Governor candidate Grant McComb is giving power to the people. What power is that? Power over his haircut. Last night, delegates had the chance to vote on a variety of different hairstyles, the winner of which would become Grant's new do. Let's check it out. Now, Grant, how are you feeling about this upcoming event?
A little bit nervous, actually. I haven't had short hair in a long while. Actually, since coming back from Sacramento last year, I had short hair, and it's kind of been growing out. And yeah, that's kind of what's happening right now.
And why did you decide to cut your hair?
Well, I didn't decide to cut my hair. It's a part of the political party, so we're gonna have the delegates come through at 6 and vote tonight. So there's several different cuts that they can vote for, or vote no cut at all. So we'll see how many votes I get to keep it, how many votes I get to cut it off.
Now, what cut are you hoping for?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm hoping kind of to keep it, actually, because I kind of like it. But if I do end up getting it cut, I want kind of shorter on the sides, maybe long on the top, or just a general trim, just to get it all kind of uniform, get it down there.
Sounds good. And so are you feeling nervous at all?
Yeah, a little bit. It's going to be a big change getting it, because as you can see, it's still wet. I washed it like a half hour ago, so it's going to be drying a lot faster. That's one point. But yeah, I am nervous about it.
Now, what cut do you absolutely not want to get?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. The buzz, for sure. I don't want the buzz.
All right, so which hairstyle did you vote for and why?
Bowl cut because it would make him look amazing.
The trim because I love the Tarzan, but it should be a little shorter.
I did the bowl cut, but I'm surprised that there's no bald option.
I voted for the buzz because, let's face it, we want to see him cut all his hair off. Hi, I'm Ben Gladman.
I chose the Nate Posen because he's a really handsome young man, and I think that he'll get a lot more votes if he's also a handsome young man, because I really think he needs to cut the bush.
Unfortunately, the haircut was cut short. Convention Center staff shut down the event because the audience traffic was so congested that it posed a fire hazard. They finished the cut early this morning.
And now we go to our weather report.
Good morning, Sacramento. The clouds we had this morning should be giving way to mainly sunny skies this afternoon. There will be a high of 64 degrees and a low of 37 degrees. There won't be any more rain, so you're safe to put away those umbrellas. Back to you, Javier and Jesse.
Are you a small delegation? Are you tired of being in the shadows of the big delegations like CPY and East Valley? Y reporter Ross has found the secret to growing your small delegation.
The struggle is real. For years, small delegations have struggled under the influence of the larger delegations. It is common to hear delegates complain that the voting system is unfair. But what if instead of changing the voting system, you grew your delegation? We interviewed State Chaplain E.J. Marin and NCDM advisor Brandon Fisher to see how they have grown their delegations.
Advocacy. Advocacy is the number one thing that you need in order to grow your numbers. I remember in BYG, I came in my junior year. BYG had about 4 delegates. And I wanted to run for Youth Gov. I had big ambitions. We all had a lot of big ambitions. And what we did was that we contacted the 3 schools in Burbank, School Unified. We got from 3 delegates all the way up to 25 delegates. And we had more delegates than that. We had about 60 kids interested in our program. And what really kept us down to 25 was actually the cost. You don't only have to advocate, but when you bring them in, you have to make them feel like they're a part of something. So the big combo to grow your numbers is advocacy, know your Y and G, and when you bring them in, make them feel like a family.
Brandon Fisher, an advisor for one of the program's largest delegations, also gave us some insight as to how delegations grow.
I think I would say a couple of things. Number one, the program sells itself, and so I think that it's always looking to grow, and it's going to be easy to do so. I think there's a little bit of a snowball element that it's just waiting. Most delegations are just waiting there, and if you kind of get the right people and the right momentum, the thing just starts going. And I think that that's one thing that was able to happen in our delegation with some really excited people that started to spread that word, and that momentum started going and got us to the place that we are now.
A good place to start if you want to grow your delegation is enthusiasm. Without passion for the program, your delegation will be difficult to expand. When you get back from Sacramento this year, ask yourself, what can be done to grow your delegation?
Small delegation. If you weren't at the convention center last night, you missed a performance by a hypnotist, and our girl Haley got in on the action.
I am here in the convention center about to interview tonight's entertainment, Zealous, comedy hypnotist from Detroit. He began his career in hypnosis in 1978. Currently, he lives in San Francisco. Let's see what he has to say about the show. So what first attracted you to this career choice?
I was a street performer in San Francisco in '78, and I was looking out on the street performing, and somebody gave me a self-hypnosis cassette, and I loved it, and I bought a book on it, and I hypnotized my best friend, and he went under, and I thought, I should do this for a living. So I bought a book on it, and I taught myself, and 35 years later, that's what I've been doing.
That's great. Now, how do you turn hypnosis into a comedy show?
I just happen to do funny things. Like they'll see their favorite movie stars, they'll think they're in 3rd grade, they'll think they're at the zoo. I try to do things that are funny but not degrading.
And can everyone be hypnotized?
Everybody gets hypnotized every day of their life, they just don't realize it. There's things called highway hypnosis where you drive and you don't even realize you drive through a town. You stop through all the stop signs and you'll be able to speed limits, but you're just not aware of it. So hypnosis is a natural occurring state. Anybody can hypnotize at all. Everybody can be, actually, yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had the chance to be hypnotized with 18 other volunteers. Here's the video.
Applause. Applaud. Once you hear him applaud, you take your seat back on stage. It's only with the lady who's shoulder touching the count of 5, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's give a hand for concentrating. Take them out. Sure, take them out. Yeah! Actually, bring back the stage. Take them out, sure! Yeah! And sleep.
The event had a fairly impressive turnout. I think both audience members and participants can agree it was a mesmerizing night.
I think I speak for everyone when I say this weekend has been one for the books.
At times, exhausting and frustrating, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Whether it was speaking your mind or just getting out of your comfort zone.
Polling delegates or lobbying for a bill.
Running for a position or just being YNG's #1 news team.
We'll miss you, Sacramento. So until next year, I'm Jessie Zand.
I'm Javier Fernandez, and from all of us here at the Broadcast Media,
stay classy, Sacramento.
Stay golden, YNG.